You can create wealth in your own lifetime. Last week, we spoke about the right age to start this process of building wealth, and that sweet spot is between the age of 20 to 30. This week, let's look at the actions that you need to do in this age and some of the things which you should not. Let's jump in.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
The first thing to do is to have a financial goal for your, say, next 40 years. When you retire or at the age of 60 or whenever you want to sort of slow down, you need to build a number plan on what number should be the corpus that you should have at that time. Make it as ambitious as possible, make it as big as possible, because that goal helps you to decide what you should be doing in the next 10 years. The next 10 years will lay the foundation for getting on the path to the goal that you have decided. So financial goals is very important. The second thing to do is to, like everything else, like we talk about career coach, life coach, you need a financial coach. None of us are experts, and especially at that tender age, you are definitely not an expert on planning and the law of the land and the tax laws of the land. So get in touch with a good, I call it financial coach. They are coming in different names. There are wealth advisors, etc. Talk to them regularly, have monthly meetings and plan what you need to do in the next 10 years. My suggestion on what you should do with your income: remember, your job does not create wealth. Job just provides you income. Wealth creation happens through the other things which we'll discuss today. Job creates income. Now this income is in the form of salary. I strongly recommend that you keep 20% of your salary away. Okay, so if suppose your salary is say 30,000, take 20% of that and keep it away for what I'm going to propose now. From the remaining salary, which is the 80% that's with you, you figure out how to fund your rent, how to eat what you eat, your food, your travel, and etc. It's not the other way around. It's not that you first do all the expenses and then what's left you use it for the investment. This is the golden rule. Please remember this. Take 20% out and say that that's not available for my expenses. The remaining 80%, use it for your rent, your food, your living, travel, etc. What does it mean? It means if that 80% is not good enough for your expenses, reduce your expenses. In the age of 20 to 30, you must be willing to be super focused on creating wealth. So these comforts can wait after 30 and the rest of your life. Right now, choose a place to stay where the rent is the lowest, even if it means staying further away from your place of work, making sacrifices, eating food which is not very expensive, cooking yourself instead of eating out, things like that. But manage your expenses in that 80%. Now let's look at the 20%. Out of the 20, so 2 points out of the 20%. Take it out and use it for charity. Give it away. Feed someone, donate, whatever you want to do, do it, but it's for helping someone. In fact, once you cross 30, I would actually advise you to take it up to about 5% of your income. But right now, because the whole focus is on building wealth, 2% is enough. So take 2% out. It's not about the quantity of money that you will give out in charity or in help. It's about the mindset that it builds, that you must give from whatever you get. And that mindset is important in creating wealth. And we'll talk about it in some other time on why that's important. From the remaining 18% of your total income, there are some which will go automatically out. Okay, for example, your PF, Provident fund, that is cut by your employer and an equal amount is put by your employer and it is saved. Interest rates are pretty decent. So that saving is happening automatically, is building on that, never touch it. till you retire and you get eligible to take it. So that's a corpus which is building on its own. So that one happens automatically. You don't need to do too much about it. The second thing which I would recommend strongly is to buy an insurance. Be careful. There are a lot of insurance products today which says that's an insurance plus investment. Don't buy them. Stay focused on what is supposed to do the job it has to do. Insurance has to provide insurance. Don't mix it with investment. The moment you mix it, you realize that it doesn't do both. So pick up a product which provides two kinds of insurances, or two different products. One is life. Life insurance is important because it protects your dependents who will come later in life from any eventuality. But the time to buy is now, because this is when you get the cheapest or the most inexpensive premium rates. So buy it in this period. The other insurance you must buy is health insurance. At this age, you are fit, you are very healthy, you don't need insurance. But in this age, precisely for the point that you are healthy, you get the most attractive, inexpensive premium rates. And that rates help you, because as you get older, you will need insurance, health insurance, medical bills, hospitalization can suck the entire corpus away if you don't have insurance. So just make sure that you spend on insurance of life and health at that young age. The temptation is not to do that. The third thing which most people don't do, and I learned it much later in life, where it's so important that you start doing it at the age of 20, is to build an emergency fund. What is an emergency fund? Typically, it's you keep some money away in a product where you can withdraw the money at a very short notice. So it could just be a savings account, or it could be a FD at best, somewhere where you can remove the money very quickly. It's in a liquid form for any emergencies that happen. What kind of emergencies? The most common emergency that could happen is you lose your job. Okay, so then you need to sustain yourself. There are expenses that you are building, so you need to sustain. How much money to keep in the emergency fund? Back of the envelope, I would say, look at the city where you stay and your qualifications. See, normally if you went to look for a job, how long would you take to get a decent job? If your answer is 3 months, so be it. Some might say 6 months, so be it. So take that number of months and multiply it by your monthly expense. So for the time being, let's assume 6 months, the worst case, say, so to get a job for you. Once if you lose a job, to get another job, say 6 months. Then take your monthly expense, multiply by 6, and put that corpus or that money in an either a savings account or an FD, which can be withdrawn very quickly by you in cases of emergency. An emergency fund is a must. Please don't miss out on doing that. The last part is where you actually do your investment. Investments, there are many kinds, but the one which I did and I would recommend is to go and invest in the markets. And since we don't have enough time nor knowledge to research on stocks, individual stocks, and work on it, trust the investment planner and go and put it in a mutual fund. A mutual fund is where a very competent planner looks at what stocks would do well and creates a bouquet of stocks, and we invest in that. And he manages that. He quickly changes stuff if he needs to. Typically, in the past, they have given an average of about 2 annual rate of return. India is entering into a golden period. It's already in on the economy front. So expect this to get better. This probably goes to 14 or 15% average return over a period of time. Make investment there now. Make something like a systematic investment plan, SIP. Let it keep going. Very small amounts are fine, but it has to keep going every month. To summarize here on the the total income which comes from your salary, you look at 80% to be spent on your expenses. The remaining 20%, you break it into things which you will put in, which will help you grow your income, grow your wealth or grow your corpus, and also protect you from sudden drain on your corpus. This 20% you just can't touch. Take this 20% out and then plan whatever you want to do on your expenses with the. What I'm going to say now may be very unpopular to the young people, but the most important thing on wealth creation is the mindset. What's your mindset? You need to be clear that what you want to do. This 10 years is not going to be very easy. You just come out of college, you think like, you're going to do have a lot of fun. Don't do. Keep it, postpone it. Okay, so the mindset has to be about creating wealth, about growing, about abundance. Okay, so let me give some examples. Many of your friends might be partying on weekends, spending money on pubs, having drinks. Stop yourself from doing that unless you can do it in that 80%. In fact, more money flowed into investments will help you get to your goals far earlier. So no partying, no dating, no falling in love. Postpone everything, no marriage at that time. Postpone till the end of this 10-year period. Don't take any more dependence or liabilities on yourself. It's a mindset game. It's not as tough as it sounds. Focus on building wealth. The other thing I see people want to do is to quickly go and buy a big car and stuff like that. No. If you can use public transport, use it. If you can't, then buy whatever is the most inexpensive vehicle that you can get to travel and reach your workplace. This is not the time to show off. This is the time to use these stuff as tools to make you more productive, that's all, and nothing else. Connected to this topic is also about people, keep talking about, and in India more, there's a lot of pressure to buy your house. That's the big thing. Strong recommendation is that if you buy your house, you buy it only to rent it out. The point is you need multiple sources of income, most of them passive if you can. While salary is your primary source of income, you need to build. So if you need to take a loan and buy a house for the purpose of renting out. So how does that change your decision of where to buy? It obviously does, because you'll buy in a place not only where you can get a loan within your budget or limit, but also where you can get good rentals. Okay, so while you personally might stay in a rental place which is where its rent is low, a smaller house far away, but buy a house where you can get good rental. Okay, so good value. So this is a passive income creation which you are doing. You get rental income while your value of the house is also growing at a particular rate. There are other passive income opportunities that you will have. If your company allows, you could also look at doing some businesses on the side, but please make sure it's something which is complying with your company policies. But you need to keep looking at multiple sources of income which are not so risky. Unlike all your other investment and growth, where I keep insisting, like I said in my last video, that if you suppose say mutual funds, take the high return ones which might be high risk too, because in this age is where you take these risks. But when you look at other sources of income, that income should be more passive and more steady and not too risky. So just be careful of that, but keep that in mind, that you are constantly looking for other sources of income. These sources have to be legal and morally and ethically right. So just make sure it's complying with your company policies. I just want to quickly summarize on some of the don'ts which you should not do. Okay, like I said, the first thing is don't rush to buy a house for yourself. Postpone it. It's one of the worst investment you can do if you're going to live in it. Okay, rentals, you can get into a variable expense which you can bring it down, make it as cheaper. You stay, anyway you're single at that time. So don't rush and buy the house. Buy the house at the end of your 10-year period for yourself. But buy a house through loan if you have to, but for renting out and creating a passive source of income. Don't rush and buy a vehicle just to show off. This 10 years is not for showing off. You buy a vehicle if it's going to make you more productive. So you save more time so that you can do more, which will generate more for you. Only then you buy a vehicle or use public transport. The other thing traditionally our elders have told us is to create fixed deposits. Don't even put it there at this stage. Nothing in fixed deposit. For this 10 years, don't put anything fixed deposits. The rate of interest that you get is very low. Whatever money you have, you put on those tools like mutual funds or something else, which gives you much higher rate of return, but which will come with some high risk, it's fine. But it's important that you don't put it in slow moving, slow growing investment tools. Remember that, no FDs. All FDs can happen much later, after your 30s. And again, to reiterate what I said earlier, don't spend money and time and your health on partying, on dating, unproductive stuff. Don't do it now. Be single-handed focused on building wealth. The last thing, which is so important when you look at how to make yourself more productive to create wealth, is your health. Take care of your health. Okay, some things which I have spoken about in my earlier talks. Make sure you sleep well. You need 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So don't have late nights and parties. Don't watch TV till late night. Mobile phone. So 7 to 8 hours sleep, very important for you. Doing some exercise, even if it's floor exercise at home and you don't have time to go to the gym, it's fine. Push-ups, sit-ups, walk, run, things which don't cost too much and it doesn't take too much time. But consistency is the key. Do it every day. Even if you're doing half an hour only, it's fine. Do it every day. Consistency is the key. If you are physically good, physically healthy, only then you can stay focused and be at your most aggressive and most savage self in making wealth. In summary, I want you to think of yourself as a warrior, as a soldier who's focused just on making wealth, creating wealth. So this 10 years is like a boot camp. You are disciplined, you are ultra focused on your health and making money. Everything which I spoke to you, just remember that and just go do. It means you'll make sacrifices. It's not going to be easy. Your friends are going to be having partying, fun, everything. You are not going to do. Stay super focused on what we have to do. All this effort that you put in this 10 years will show up as a life of great comfort and luxury for you in the rest of your life after 30. So while others are trying to have a good time now and you are super focused, disciplined and not letting yourself go and do what they're doing, and some of them might mock you, it's after 30 for the next rest of your, like say 50 years, is when you are far ahead of them and they are jealous of you. Till next time, stay unstoppable.